Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. In today's lesson, our focus is on the basics of IELTS reading. We want to look at the reading modules, and we want to look at the basic things that you need to know about the reading aspect of the IELTS test. In the IELTS test, you have 4 different modules, and each module represents each of the 4 language skills. You have the listening, the speaking, the reading, and the writing. And in this lesson, our focus is on the reading module. So let's get started right away. First, an overview of the IELTS reading modules. The reading module is of 2 versions, the academic module and the general training module. And of course, the questions differ. Yet there are similarities in terms of the structure. For example, the IELTS academic module will last for 60 minutes, and the IELTS general training module will also last for 60 minutes. That's the reading section of each test. And then you have 40 questions on each side, and you have 3 passages on each side. All right. Then you have slight differences. Now, the academic module will have text range from descriptive and factual to discursive and analytical, and will include non-verbal material such as diagram or illustrations. The texts are authentic. For example, they are taken from books, journals, and newspapers. Then, in the general training module, the reading test, Section 1 contains 2 or 3 short factual texts. Section 2 contains 2 short work-related factual tests. Don't forget that those who are going to take the IELTS general training test are people who want to work, to live in and work in a place like UK, Canada, New Zealand, and so on. So it's basically for people who want to work. And so it's not surprising that you are going to have 2 short work-related factual tests, okay? Then section 3 contains 1 longer text on a topic of general interest, because the people who are going to take this test are not people who are going to school. They are people who want to live in a place and live their life and work there. Then the texts are authentic also, like the other one. For example, they are taken from company handbooks. You see the slight difference. The other ones are taken from books, which could be academic books, but these are taken from company handbooks, official documents, all right, books and newspapers. So that is exactly what the IELTS reading module looks like, in terms of what you should expect for the academic test and for the general training, okay? Then let's look at this basic question. Which version of the IELTS should you take? It depends on your aim for migrating to the country that you want to migrate to. If you are going there for academic purposes, you have to take the IELTS academic, because the IELTS academic test is required by universities and professional registration bodies. If you are going to that country to live there and to work there, then you need the IELTS general test, because that test is for people wanting to work in or emigrate to UK, Ireland, Australia, Canada, or New Zealand, okay? Now let's look at the IELTS reading test structure. As you can see the infographic here, you will see that, you know, you have 3 sections, of course, 3 passages for each section of the reading test: reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3. And each of them will last for 20 minutes. So altogether, you are going to have just 1 hour. That is 60 minutes. So timing is key. You will have just 1 hour to complete 40 questions. So you must use your time wisely. And again, you need to try to get each session finished in 20 minutes. Of course, you should be able to finish in between 16 to 17 minutes, for example. Okay, you should be able to read and answer the questions, and so that you have 3 to 4 minutes, you know, to check your answers and ensure that everything is okay. Then let's look at the IELTS reading question types. We like in other sections, other modules, such as the speaking, the listening, and the reading and the writing modules. In this reading module or reading section of the IELTS test, you have a variety of tasks, okay? And they include the following. You have matching headings, you have summary completion, you have multiple choice, okay? Let's look at the left column first. You have the matching headings, you have the multiple choice endings, you have the short answer questions, you have the name matching, okay? Then you have the true, false, not giving information to paragraphs, okay? These are various types of questions. Then number 6, you have the yes, no, or not giving questions. Then number 7, you have summary completion. Number 8, you have matching sentence. Number 9, you have sentence completion. Number 10, you have table completion. 11, matching questions. And number 12, diagram labeling questions. These are different types of reading questions. So, and we are going to look at them one by one during this training program. This is why it is important for one to register for an IELTS training program such as the one we are having on English classes online, because to prepare adequately for a test is what it is required for you to really score high in that test. There is this saying that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it's important for one to start in time to learn how to answer these different types of questions, so that long before you register for the IELTS test, you have mastered the various areas, okay, so that you walk into the exam feeling confident and feeling comfortable, because you know exactly what to do. If you find matching questions or matching headings, you won't be confused. If you find multiple choice questions, you won't be confused. If you find short answer questions, you won't be confused. You won't be worried about what is name matching, you know. So it is very important that you familiarize yourself with the various, you know, IELTS reading question types. And that is also how you need to master the IELTS listening question types. You need to master the IELTS writing question types. And you need to also master the IELTS speaking question types. Now, all these various question types are what we actually learn in this training program. And it is important that in each module, you pay attention to each question type and pay attention particularly to the simple procedure I'm going to show you, you know, how to answer the question, what exactly to do, the kind of instructions you should never ignore, okay, so that you will be able to score high. Now, having said this, let's now look at some of the IELTS reading skills. We have skimming and scanning. These are two common reading techniques. At high school, you must have learned these reading techniques. Skimming is a reading technique that enables you to read through the text quickly, getting meaning from keywords and chunks of language that make up phrases. You need this type of reading technique when you want to have a general overview of what a passage is about, when the aim is to know the main ideas, basically what the passage is about. So you read through it quickly, you skim. It's just a reading technique. It has its purpose. Now, when you read a passage, I must emphasize you need a combination of various reading techniques. There is no single reading technique that is enough to enable you to answer questions correctly. You need to use various techniques, okay, to arrive at your goal. Then the second reading technique is the scanning. And this technique is what you need when you want to look for the words or numbers closely related to the specific piece of information you want to find. Now, just think about it for a moment. When women go for a scan, when pregnant women go for a scan, what are they looking for? They want a specific piece of information. It could be the gender of the child in the womb. Okay, so the scan will just identify the gender of the child in the womb. Now, so a scan is meant for looking for a specific piece of information, and is a reading skill that also has its purpose in helping you to answer questions. You know, when you read a passage and you have to answer questions on the passage. Now, let's continue. Now, in addition to these first two, reading, skimming and scanning, we have the third one, which is detailed reading. In this reading technique, this kind of skill, a skill is an ability to do something. So a reading skill is the ability to read a passage and understand it. And these various skills or techniques, if you like, enable you to, you know, achieve a specific goal, you know, in reading. And so detailed reading enables you to read the text or a given part of it word for word to understand exactly what it says. This is a very important reading skill that you should never overlook. Don't ever think that you can just skim the passage or scan the passage and then you do away with detailed reading. No, detailed reading is very, very important, because that is what should first give you full understanding of what the passage or the text says exactly. Detailed reading is important because it enables you to dig deeper into the text to get the detail that provides the answer. You don't begin to answer questions on a passage until you have understood what the passage is exactly about. And detailed reading gives you full understanding of what the passage is about. And it is when you have this full understanding that you will be able to begin to answer questions. And when you begin to answer questions, then you can use skimming, you can use scanning to identify, you know, exactly. Of course, you use skimming for the purpose of finding, you know, the main ideas. You use scanning for the purpose of finding a specific piece of information. But these two cannot suffice. They are not sufficient in themselves. You can't do without detailed reading. So each of them has its place, its role, and its purpose in reading. Then the next one is using context. Now, you might ask yourself, what exactly is context? Now, context is you know, how words are used and how words used in a given text or passage, you know, relate with one another, you know, because English words acquire their meaning in context. Context means how it is used, you know. Context simply means how a word is used in a particular passage. You know, I'm going to give you a specific example to illustrate what context really means. Because when you understand the actual meaning of context, then you will be able to appreciate its role in reading and why we can call it a reading skill or a reading technique. Okay, now the word context, C-O-N-T-E-X-T, has a general meaning, you know, apart from its meaning as it relates to reading, you know. Context has to do with the circumstances that form the background or the setting for an event or situation or a statement somebody has made, okay? Now, you can also look at context as the parts of something written or spoken, you know, that immediately come before or after a word, you know. And so if you are using context, what you use it to do is that you can use it, you know, the context that comes immediately before or after a particular word or phrase to help explain its meaning. Well, let me try to explain context here by, you know, looking at looking at the word man, M-A-N. Okay, we want to look at the word man. Let's look at the word man. Okay, it's an English word. Okay, and then don't forget we are looking at the word man. Okay, and now in sentence one, we want to use man in a sentence. John is a man. Okay, that's sentence number one. Sentence number two, John was asked to man the, well, let's extend this a little bit. John was asked to man the engine room. Okay, so you can see two sentences here, each of them containing the word man. Okay, and so when you look at this, you see that man here, okay, man here means a person or a human being. John is a man. John is a type of person, is a type of human being, right? But that is not the meaning in sentence two. John was asked to man the engine room. So man here is no longer a person. In sentence one, man is a person. In sentence two, man is an action. John was asked to man the engine room. Man here, the meaning is to control the engine room or to take charge of the engine room or to supervise the engine room. So you can see that if an English word is like a chameleon that changes its meaning from one environment to another. If you place a chameleon near the green flowers, it assumes the green color of the flower. It turns green. But if you take the chameleon from the green flower and place it near the red flower, what happens? It changes its color to the color of the flower, which is red. It turns red. So in the same way, every English word changes its meaning from one context to another. So the sentence number one is one context. We have used it in one context. So if you look at the meaning of man, you can derive its meaning from the context. Context can mean how a word is used, and that helps us to know its specific meaning. And so sentence number two is a different context, and so the meaning of the word man, has a different, the word man has a different meaning in sentence number two. So this gives you idea of what context is all about. And so talking about using context as a reading technique, of course, you will then understand what that is all about. That when you are looking at the specific words in a passage, the context enables you to identify its exact meaning, and that will actually facilitate your reading. So let's actually do away with this. Let's undo this, and then we proceed to the next reading skills, okay? We have two of them remaining, and the first one is using the topic sentence. Using the topic sentence. Now, the topic sentence is a sentence that contains the main idea of a paragraph. And why is it an important reading skill or technique? Now, once you identify the topic sentence, it helps you to understand what the whole text in that paragraph is about without reading everything. Now, let me give you one example, okay? Let me try to give you one example, Let's assume that in this paragraph, we are talking about road accident. The entire passage is about road accident. And in a particular paragraph, what I want to discuss is bad roads as one of the causes of road accidents. Okay? So let's assume that this is paragraph 2. And so I begin the paragraph by saying that, okay, most of the roads in the country are bad. Okay, this is my topic sentence. Okay, most of the roads in the country are bad. And then I will say other things, write other things that will make up this paragraph. For example, I can give an example. Say most of the roads in the country are bad. Some of them are full of potholes. Which constitute death traps. Vehicles on top speed often get into these roles and lose total control resulting in accidents. In some cases, the roads are too narrow. So you can see, I can give different examples, you know, I can add different details, but everything I am discussing in this paragraph is about bad roads. So you see, that makes the first sentence here the topic sentence, because the real topic of this paragraph is bad roads. Everything I'm discussing in this paragraph is bad roads. Okay, so that is what topic sentence is about. I might go ahead to talk about lack of drainage. You know, the roads can be flooded. There are no clear road signs, and all these are aspects. They are all about the bad roads. They are all just showing you how bad the roads are. So everything in this paragraph is about bad roads. It doesn't matter how many sentences, even if I write 10 to 20 sentences in this paragraph, there's only one main idea, one main topic, and the topic is bad roads. The roads are bad, full stop. Now, so how does the topic sentence help you in reading? Once you get to the paragraph and you read through the paragraph, then you quickly identify the first sentence as the topic sentence, and that helps you to summarize the entire paragraph. Everything the writer is discussing in this paragraph is about bad roads. That's all. All the other sentences are just giving you more support. They are just giving this first sentence additional support. The writer is just giving more details, more examples to show you that most of the roads in the country are bad. But there's nothing else the writer is discussing in this paragraph apart from this idea. The whole idea of this paragraph is that most of the roads in the country are bad. So your ability to identify that single sentence that gives you, a summary of the whole paragraph enables you to actually, have a clearer understanding of a passage, and it becomes the key that enables you to answer questions, correctly. Okay, so that is the way it is. Okay, so let's undo this. I hope you have understood what this is all about. Okay, so let's undo this. Now, the second one here is using keywords, using keywords. Now, you should be able to understand what a keyword really means. What does a keyword mean? A keyword is actually a very important reading skill, reading technique, because as the name implies, It is a word that gives you the key to unlock the entire passage. And in fact, a keyword can become the key you need to the answer you are looking for in the passage. And so it's really very powerful. Now, using the keyword, what you need to do is to identify the keywords in each question. You know, I have always taught my students how to use a simple procedure in answering comprehension questions. And the procedure is to read the question first. So when you read the question first, you identify the keyword in each question. And then the keyword you have identified will help you to locate the answer in the passage. And this is where you now use the scanning method we discussed earlier. You know, once you have identified the keyword in each question, then you scan for that keyword that links the question and the answer together. When you identify the keyword in the question, when you go back to the passage and then you are looking for the answer to that question, you are looking for the keyword in the passage. And once you identify or locate the keyword, then you know that you have gotten the information that will help you to answer the question. So when we start looking at specific reading passages, I will explain further to you how you can use the keyword. But at this juncture, I want to actually draw your attention to the role that keywords play, not only in answering comprehension passages or in using it as a reading skill, but also even in understanding how the internet or the digital space in today's digital world operates. For example, when you are searching for anything on the internet, all you need to do is to type a keyword on a Google search engine, such as Chrome or any other search engine. And once you type the keyword and you click on enter, then you see that different search results are, are downloaded. And you keep wondering how this has happened. The keyword you typed on the search engine has just, acted as a key that opened different doors. So you can see that the keyword can actually become a master key that opens different doors. It opens the different doors and then downloads information, the information you are looking for from different sources, and then displays them. Okay, so that's how powerful a keyword is. And so you can use it in searching for something on the internet, but as regards reading a passage and answering questions on the passage, which is what we are going to do in the IELTS reading test, then the keyword becomes also a very powerful key you can use in opening the door to the answers you are looking for in the passage. So that is exactly how you use keywords, okay? Just to give you a little example. Of course, we shall be looking at how this is used when we begin to look at specific reading passages. Now, having said that, let's now look at the last item, and that is completing the answer sheet. This is very important because when you are giving your reading question and then you are giving your reading answer sheet, you need to complete the answer sheet as you go along. Now, in the IELTS reading test, you will not be given extra time at the end to transfer your answers to the answer sheet, unlike what we saw in the listening test. In the IELTS listening test, you are given 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the test paper, the question paper, to the answer sheet. Okay? And sometimes students get confused. They want to do the same thing when it comes to the reading test. And this is why I want to emphasize this. You are not going to be given any extra 10 minutes to transfer your answer from the reading question sheet to the reading answer sheet. It doesn't happen in the reading text. It happens only in the listening test. So what do? When you are given your reading question sheet and your reading answer sheet, then you must begin to fill in the answers exactly as instructed, and you have to fill them within or directly in the answer sheet, okay? Of course, if you are going to take the IELTS computer delivered test, all you need to do is to enter your answers directly, you know, with the keyboard, okay? So you won't be confused. But I'm emphasizing this in case you are going to take the IELTS paper test. You know, there are two modes, you know. You may decide to take the paper test or the computer test in the IELTS. So if you are going to take the paper test, you'll be given the question sheet, and then you will also have the answer sheet. So you enter the answers directly in the answer sheet. And this is exactly where we draw the curtain in today's lesson. We have been looking at the basics of the IELTS reading test, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you actually understood the different aspects of this, the different basic things that you need to know about the IELTS reading. So I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Goodbye for now and remain blessed.